Greetings, programs! Welcome to the Rune Space. Last week I talked about how I started doing digital art and gave a few pointers of programs and such that worked well for me. I also showed a side-by-side comparison of one of my first works to a current one, and wanted to talk about some exercises, tips, tricks, and general advice on how to improve as an artist. This won't be a set list or any definitive rules, just some notes I wrote down of things I've noticed and advice others have shared. Which leads into my first point. The first thing you need to do before looking to improve is to be open with other people's perspective and help. No matter what you're doing, guaranteed someone has gone before you and left a trail for you to either follow or be wary of. Not all paths lead to success, but that doesn't mean they haven't discovered something useful. Being open to others doesn't mean just accepting what they say as gospel. It means hearing and understanding that what they have found did or didn't work for them. All the advice I give on this channel is purely based on what I've found and works for me. Or it doesn't work for me and I still roll with it anyways out of pure stubbornness. If you're going to ask for advice, be prepared to receive advice. Okay, now there's no definitive rules. Everything after this is purely conjecture and thus prepare the salt grains. The first thing people usually turn to when looking to improve are online tutorials or how-to books, which are a great source of information, most of the time, but they usually only show one way to do something, like a math textbook. Despite what a few people would tell you, art is not math. Math is science, and there's a reason we say it's more of an art than a science. I understand why the tutorials only show one way. It would literally be impossible to showcase every method on a singular video or book. So my advice for watching tutorials is pull from at least 5 different sources when researching techniques. I know this feels like a no-duh moment, but some of the most obvious advice is often the most overlooked. Along with pulling from different sources, it's also a good idea to dabble in multiple mediums. You don't have to commit to it, of course, but I've discovered in learning how other mediums are used and techniques required for them can be applied in other places. In drawing traditionally with a ballpoint pen, I've become more confident with my digital line art, thus creating smoother lines. Most of my digital painting techniques I used for this piece, I picked up from watching Bob Ross. However, going out and buying whole palettes of oil paints, testing out different markers, and blowing over $100 on supplies you may not even like, or worse, never use again, is not an ideal option for most. In fact, I advise against it. Being smart with your investments is much more important than learning how to sculpt or use gouache. Branching out with other mediums can be achieved simply by watching other creators. Tuning in to an artist's live stream, or heck, even watching a speed paint. It's great help, even if it's in a medium you never want to try. I absolutely never want to even consider attempting doll customization, yet I'm fascinated by channels like Delightful. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I can't wrap my head around it, or maybe it's just all the pretty colors. But the act of making physical, the concepts in your head, and having to actually consider the logistics of a design is something I never considered before as a digital or traditional artist. But don't just take it from me. Take it from a highly respected source.
It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale.
Admittedly, there are some techniques from one media that just will not work with another, but that's part of the appeal of learning and understanding other artists, and the mediums they choose to decorate the world with pieces of their soul. Now you may have noticed I haven't mentioned the only piece of advice everyone tries to push with little regard for what it actually means, and that's practice. Practice makes perfect, they say. Yeah? Bull. Not only is perfection a human construct created to put down the accomplishments of others and cannot be found anywhere in the natural world, it also pushes a gross oversimplification of the idea that mastery can be achieved by simple repetition and not an active understanding.
What?
Understanding why a technique is used is just as important as understanding the what or how. Alternatively, we can perceive this phrase as saying that improvement is an active endeavor. Improvement must be worked at, crafted, harnessed, toned. Change isn't brought on by chance. It's choice. You must put in the time and the effort to be an active participant in your journey as an artist. Mind you, becoming a better artist isn't just banging your head against the wall constantly hoping for a breakthrough. I've made some of my best art after I came back from a hiatus. Whether it was a few months or just a week, giving yourself the chance to step back, internalize, and recharge is the best thing you can do for yourself. In this line of work, you not only have to be your own coach, you also have to be your own cheerleader. Advocate for yourself. Look back on your old art, and instead of being disgusted and thinking of how cringe it is, maybe compare it to your current work and say, wow, look how far I've gone, and the best is yet to come. Spare some forgiveness for yourself every once in a while. In order to have ample room to grow, you need room to breathe. Relax. This is supposed to be fun. Speaking of fun, doing dumb little doodles or challenges for the heck of it comes highly recommended. The theory is that engaging in an art challenge is a great exercise in creative problem solving and personal interpretation. In theory. If my channel is anything to go by, these character design challenges seem to be more of a headache than a help, but my videos are not a reflection on the effectiveness of art challenges. I just have performance anxiety. I have a much better time with them away from YouTube and in the comfort of 3 a.m. boredom. Alright, is that everything? Be open, be versatile, be flexible, forgiveness, fun. What are your thoughts? Am I completely bogus with my takes, or am I onto something? What are some things you do to improve? If this video gets enough suggestions, I may have to make a part 2. But in the meantime, be sure to like, again, comment some of your tips and tricks, and subscribe to stay tuned. Something about a Ko-fi link. And we will meet again in the stars. Space out!